So, welcome everyone. This is our balance and stability class. So, main focus will be on our balance. So, we will incorporate that into the workout, but we do want to also warm up our body. So, we'll make sure that we are also, what do you call it, doing some stretches as well. So, let's go ahead and we might have done some of these stretches already in the previous class. Let's go ahead and look left to right. Just turn your torso left to right. I mean, your torso, I'm sorry, your neck. Trying to track all of this stuff. Now up and down. And the stability component we'll incorporate at the end. We'll just do a variation, probably a variation of planks, and then some support stuff while we're standing. Let's go ahead and do our neck circles. So this is our first session of balance and stability. As I mentioned earlier, in the previous class, next week we will just have recordings for Friday and Saturday, but we will meet tomorrow again. So, Rich, it's a little slower paced class, but really engaging on our core and our balance. And we still want to get some joint health in there. So let's go ahead and sit on our left hand. Bring your right hand over. Allow that elbow to drop.
Julio, I just read an article, I think it was in the New York Times, about how important the neck stretches are for your inner ear. And so that's another reason why we do them, because it helps your inner ear. And I hadn't realized that before. I just thought it was your neck.
Oh, for this one?
Yeah, well, both of them, the left and right and up and
Oh, I
down,
see.
the circles.
Yeah, email me that because that's the first time I hear about that.
Okay, well, I don't think well, I don't think I can do that, but
Okay.
anyway, it was a reputable source, let's put it that
Okay. All
way.
right, I'll look it up. Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, it's also really nice to find out when something you're already doing or considering doing has even more benefits. So let's go ahead and bring our hands behind our head, elbows down. All right, very good. Let's go ahead and do some shoulder circles. So this also helps our posture here. Yeah, like I was listening to a podcast about I'm getting into like the trail running and the longer distance races, and there is a segment that talked about heat training. And when I think about heat training, I just think about it more of like, you run in the hot weather because you're going to be racing in the hot weather. Let's go in reverse. So you just want to get used to that environment. You want to get used to like sweating a little bit more and drinking and hydrating a little bit better. So, that's as far as my thinking was going with the heat training. But it also stimulates red blood cells to grow as well. So the idea behind it is as you are sweating, your plasma volume in your blood decreases. So then, as far as like your oxygen transport throughout your body could slow down. So your body starts, let's reach up towards the ceiling, starts making a little bit more red blood cells to help with that transport. So I was just like, oh, awesome. Like I just thought it was for, you know, be tough, just to toughen up and not get used to running in comfortable weather. But no, there's actual benefits. So, Lean, right? So a lot of these runners, not do they only just train in the heat sometimes, and it's not like they're doing all their activities in the heat, but they found that there was a study where after a pretty heavy workout, they would go, your muscles are trying to recover, but you might be dehydrated. And it's not like when you drink water, like your blood plasma just skyrockets back to normal. So, what they found, which almost sounds counterintuitive, but the studies found that if you go in a jacuzzi or in a sauna, especially a sauna, that heat kind of uptakes. Let's take our turn to the right. Kind of, well, yeah, your body temperature rises, so it stimulates again that red blood cell growth. Um, and then yeah, so and that's legal, right? So I know there's with like endurance sports, there's been bans due to like EPO, which is hormone that stimulates the blood growth, red blood cell count. So yeah, you're pretty much adding more red blood cells to your body. And then there's been like blood doping and yeah, so people get banned from competitions because of this. And yeah, I guess going through like the sauna, since it's a little bit more natural, um, yeah, there's no bans with that. So we're gonna get on our feet right now and do some balance work. All right, let's go ahead. We could do these barefoot. So one, let's go with your right foot in front of your left. Right foot in front of your left. Let's look left to right up and down. And we're gonna close our eyes and open them. So again, when we're closing our eyes, if you feel unsafe, make sure you open them and separate your feet. You have a nicer base. All right, so from here, with our left foot behind us, just gonna elevate. It could be, as long as it's off the ground, so it could be literally half an inch. Doesn't really make a difference. If you elevate that heel a little bit higher, your center of mass may change a little bit. So center of gravity over here. And then from this position, if you're able to, you could always hold on to a chair. You could do a high knee drive, then just bring it back. Very good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and walk the tightrope. Right, so we're here, and then just one foot in front of the other. Should be fairly simple. So just finding the longest straightaway in your room. Once you reach that end, we're going to go in reverse. All right. And just relax, kind of stretch out your feet a little bit so they don't become tender or tight. Okay, next we're going to do the same thing, but on our toes. Okay, so heels off the ground. So just on your forefoot. And then just a heads up for tomorrow for this session, it's going to be pretty close to identical as what we're doing today. So I just want to give you a heads up. There's not much changes or too much variations when it comes to balance exercises. So we'll do some standing, some on the floor. What we could change is some of the stretching. But as far as the balance component, it's pretty similar. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of strengthening. So if you wanna hold on to a counter or a chair, we're just gonna do our standing Jane Fondas here, which requires our balance. So toes are pointing forward, and then we're just gonna elevate that foot up. Yeah. We're gonna do 8 on each leg. All right, and we're gonna switch once you've reached that count of 8. Very good. All right, shifting those hips a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and get back on our chair. Again, we're gonna work on just stretching a little bit more. So we're here. Let's do our hip opener. So knees are forward. Bring that right knee out. Your torso stays facing forward. Left knee stays forward. That right knee is off to the side. Just apply a little bit of pressure. Right side. Let's go ahead and switch. Switch sides. Just gonna check the chat. Should have this recording by the early afternoon, hopefully. Let's go ahead and bring the right heel onto the left leg. Okay, so piriformis muscle is deep within your glutes. Hearing like a little bit of like noise on my ceiling of my garage. Hoping I don't have mice in there. All right, gentle push down. Might have to borrow your cat, Jan. Just kidding.
wants to participate. He
Oh,
even did his treadmill earlier.
oh, nice. You have a treadmill for him? He gets on there?
Let me see if I can see that wheel.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Walks himself. I need to get one of those for Julian. All right, let's switch. Bring that left heel on that right knee. Oof. All right, gentle push down. Let's bring that knee up. All right, we're gonna go back on our feet. Okay, so just gonna get through. Most of our balance exercises are gonna be. You can grab some water if you like. I'll give you a minute. Most of our balance exercises are gonna be on our feet or on the floor. So go ahead. All right. So we did our right foot in front of our left. Now let's go left foot in front of our right. Okay. I'm gonna go for a run shortly, and got drinking my electrolytes. So that's another new thing I've been doing that I wasn't doing in the past. Just drinking water, but now I'm trying to drink electrolytes. Let's look left to right, making our ears stronger over here, up and down. All right, so again, we're gonna close our eyes, separate your feet, open them if you don't feel safe or feel like you're gonna stumble over. Close your eyes, open them, and now we're gonna elevate that right foot. That's the back. Let's elevate it, be an inch, it could be a foot. Let's go ahead and do a high knee drive and come back. Repeat. Very good. Awesome. All right, we're gonna go ahead and right now do our did a rumber stance, 10%. We're gonna do our round the clock single leg squats. Okay, so remember we're in the center of the clock. We're gonna go 12, 1, 2, 3, so forth, all the way around. So left foot is gonna be fixed. We don't move that left foot. Right heel is elevated, and we're gonna gently bend that left knee and aim for 12 o'clock. Now 1 o'clock, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just relax a little bit, shake it off. All right, left leg now. So right leg is fixed, left leg is moving, and then your right knee is just doing the squatting motion. So counterclockwise, 12, 11, 10, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 12. Awesome. All right, very good. Let's go ahead and find a wall. We could find the edge of a wall. We're gonna kind of just stretch out our chest a little bit. So for this stretch, I actually just like resting my forearm on the side of the wall. I'm parallel right next to it, and I'm gonna rotate my trunk to my left, okay, or my torso. And then as I'm turning, I'm gonna feel a nice stretch coming along here, okay? So, all right, now I'm gonna do the other side, resting it, and turning the other way. All right, now a variation of it, I'm gonna place my hand on that pose, and now I'm gonna rotate a little bit more, so it's gonna promote a little bit more range of motion. I get to stretch more into the bicep muscle, not so much the shoulder, but a little bit more into your arm. And then the switch. 2, and relax. All right, we're gonna go back into our chair. We're gonna do our chair squats. Okay, so for those of you that are new to this class, this is pretty much the main movement we want to work on. Okay, so for this one, without the support of our hands, we're gonna do 8 squats here. Okay, so just 8 air squats or chair squats. So we're gonna come up and come back down. Make sure that your chair doesn't slide behind you. You want to get a fixed chair that's not gonna compromise our health. chair's almost seems broken a little bit. It's rocking. And last one. I don't know what's up with that chair. Might just be the floor. All right, so this next one here, we're gonna do our single leg squats, okay? Back up. So for this one, we're gonna have, this is our first session, so we'll start with just having our left leg straight down, 90 degrees, and then our right leg would be extended, either heel right next to your toes, or a little bit further ahead, okay? All right, so we're doing 8 of these as well. So, again, no hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Awesome. All right, just catch your breath. That is more of a exercise, so all right, let's go ahead. 1, so doing the opposite leg. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and very good. All right, I'm just gonna come back here, sit towards the front of the chair, recline all the way back. I'm gonna go ahead and grab under my knee, then just do some lower leg extensions here. Getting a little bit of hamstring stretching. Then we're gonna switch. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and do heel raises. So our feet are flat, and we're just gonna raise our heels up 15 to 20 times. Very good. Okay, let's keep our feet flat. And now we're gonna do our toe raises, okay? So now as your toes come up, you should feel your anterior tibialis, that muscle from part of your lower leg activating. I gotta say, I'm really happy and impressed that we have most people from the 9 a.m. class that are rolling over to the 10 o'clock. I really thought it was just gonna be like half or a third of the folks. But yeah, I'm liking this. And I was assuming that based on the feedback we were getting last semester with the changes. Let's go ahead and do our ABCs. So you're just working on that ankle, ability. And we'll switch. All right, great. So now we're gonna go ahead and claw at the floor. Okay, so with your toes, try to grip the floor and bring your toes towards your heel. All right, and not everyone may have this piece of equipment with them right now, but if you happen to have a golf ball, a tennis ball, or a baseball, I want to roll out our arches a little bit. So hopefully, I know most of you are returners, so I know some of you have them. But if you don't, then maybe even like a canned food would work. But the best would be a golf ball. So next time you're walking around a golf course, it's very likely you'll see a golf ball on the floor. Go ahead and pick it up, and we'll use it here. Thought I had one, but I have this other medicine ball that I use for my hamstrings. So I'm just gonna use this one. And again, just kind of push down and roll on your arches. We'll be doing a couple stretches, movements right now on our feet, and then we'll transition down to the floor to finish off. Okay, we'll switch. Yeah. All right, so let's take like a 2 minute break and we'll regroup. We're gonna be back on the standing, okay? So grab some water, we'll bathroom break. Okay. So we're gonna go with our standing hip openers. With our standing, door openers. So for this one, we are here. We're gonna drive our right knee up, out, down, up, and down. So that's one. We're gonna do 5 on each leg. 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch. 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. All right. Our last one that we're going to do before we head down to the floor is we're going to do our Romanian deadlift with the swap at the bottom transition. Okay, so if you remember this one, you could do the stagger like we did in the last class. So again, this front knee is slightly bent, this hind leg is back there or elevated. You're confident with your balance. So we're gonna go down with the dumbbell, keeping it close to your lower leg. At the bottom, you're gonna switch hands. You're gonna switch your dumbbell to your other hand and come up. That's one. We're gonna do 6 on each leg. Okay. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Switch legs. Now my left leg is elevated or staggered, and that right hand is coming down with the dumbbell. Switch at the bottom. It's 1. Switch. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alrighty. All right, so let's get your yoga mats on the floor. Okay, we're gonna finish off with a couple. Don't have very much left. We'll be on the floor. Last remaining ones. Okay. So we're gonna start off with the stretch here. Okay, so just wrists right below your shoulders, knees right below your hips. Then we want to look down. We're gonna arch up and inhale. Exhale and arch down. Inhale, arch up. Exhale, arch down. Yeah. Very good. So rest your arms a little bit. You want to rest them because right now we're gonna do our bird dog pose. So this one's where we're gonna extend our right arm in front of us and our left leg behind us, and then we're gonna connect our elbow to our knee underneath. Okay, so we're gonna do 5 of those on each side. So we'll stick with the right hand and left, right arm and left leg to start off. Right, so from here, make sure you're looking down, extend, and then bring that knee to elbow. Hold for about half a second and extend again. 2, 3, 4, 5. Reset. Give that left wrist a little bit of a break once you've done your 5. All right, and let's start with our next set. So now it's left arm up, right leg back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Really good. All right, just rest your arms a little bit. We're gonna do donkey kicks now, okay? So this is gonna complement supplement your glutes here. So glutes and lower back. So same quadruped position. We're gonna bring our right heel towards the ceiling, okay? Or reach for the sky. So come up while looking down, and then back down. We're doing 8 of these. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you're ready, we could do our left side now. 1, 2. So looking down, making sure you're breathing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right. Very good. We're gonna rest on our back for a second here. So you could bring your knees up like if you're gonna do sit-ups. And now we're gonna incorporate a little bit core. So we're gonna do our sliding sit-ups. So hands on your lap, and you're just gonna slide your hands towards your knees. Okay. Ready? We're gonna do 40 seconds of these. And begin. So 40 seconds. Halfway there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So turn on your side. You're gonna get in this clamshell position. So knees tucked in. You're on your side, and you're just gonna come here. And then what we want to do is pretty much try to lift your shoulders off the ground. So it's okay if you use your arm to push up, because that's gonna give you a little bit of a tricep movement and workout. But we want to kind of come up this way. Okay. All right. So let's do 8 of those on each side. So come up. And you should feel that crunch happening. And again, you could exert force down through your elbow into the floor. All right. When you're ready, you can switch sides. And same idea. Okay. Ready and yeah. So we're doing 8. Very good. So when you're done, let's just go ahead and we're just gonna do a light stretch for our hamstring and our hip flexors. So we're just gonna cool down here we're kneeling and get into this lunge position, and we're just gonna rock back and forth. So go as forward as you can, dragging that knee forward, leaning into it, and then you could just rock back, drop your hips behind you. Go ahead and switch. Let's do two more. All righty. So with that, we are done for today. So again, tomorrow we'll have a similar session at 10 a.m. And then reminder next week for these sessions on Friday and Saturdays, there will be recordings, but we'll still meet Monday through Thursday if you're in those classes. But any questions? Any comments? All right, folks. Well, I appreciate everyone, especially if you stuck with me 2 hours today. So we've been hanging out a lot. So we'll hang out a little bit more tomorrow. So everyone have a good Friday and yeah,
Thank you very much.
all right, folks. Take it easy.
Gracias.
Great
Adios.
work, Julio. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.